we were forewarned, and I have to tell you, we've had a great partnership with DYCD through these years, and the things I'm about to say are not directed at the commissioner or DYCD, because they've been a terrific partner and they've spent every dime that we've allocated for this, for this critical problem as well as they possibly could. But I have to tell you, I'm a very, very, very angry, not so young man tonight. I was, well, before I say that, I think you've heard, 3,800 children are going to be sleeping on the streets of this city tonight. A third, maybe 40% of them are LGBTQ. 1,800 of them are going to sleep on a subway grating or in a subway station or in a bus shelter. And at least 180 self-identify as having spent the night in a sex work environment as a client or a worker. Those are disgusting statistics in a civilized society. And quite frankly, 9 years ago when I became the chairman of the Youth Services Committee of the Council and first became aware of this, there was one shelter for children in the city of New York. At the time, it was run by a religious institution that was not perceived to be welcoming to LGBTQ youth, and they've come miles and miles and miles from that day. I see Nancy here, that organization being Covenant House, and I really am proud of the progress that Covenant House has made. I think today we held either our 17th or 18th hearing on the subject of runaway and homeless youth related issues at the City Council during my tenure as chair. And I remember really clearly last October, elections are a wonderful thing. 2 weeks before the election, I was at the Ali Forney Center dinner, and the mayor of the city of New York announcing this commission. And because I'm from Brooklyn and because I tend to be blunt, when I was called up following that, I said, the commission is nice, cash would be better. And I said that because I know that every year, half of the money for shelter beds is cut or not included, I'll be nice, not included in the preliminary or executive budget proposed by the mayor of the city of New York. And the concern is great, the commission is great. One of the recommendations of this report is the expansion of the capacity that Carl just talked about. The expansion of the capacity. Because even if it expands to the level that is discussed in this report, we will still be leaving hundreds of children without a shelter bed or a program on the street every night. And so, in June, once again, I found myself at a rally at Union Square with Carl and some of you. The money for shelter beds, once again, not in the New York City budget, having to be prioritized, having to be fought for, something that so elementary that we should have to fight for it was not in the budget. And I believe what I said, and I don't care if there's press in the room, money talks, bullshit walks. And frankly, not including this money in the budget was an outrage. And so then we now come to these wonderful forums, and they are. And the issues you're going to talk about after I leave, and I really apologize. I mean, I made every minute of the forum in Queens, and this being my home borough, I'd like to stay for it all. I'm going to leave my counsel, my policy analyst here, but I had a prior commitment. Today, over $500,000 was cut from the RHY shelter bed program in the city of New York by the mayor of this city. So we can sit here and we can talk and we can converse about the issues behind it. But in the end, money talks. Because the kids that are sleeping on a subway grating tonight, who are on Carl's waiting list, who can't get into SCO because we don't have capacity for them, won't care what we say in this room tonight if we can't find a way to fund a place for them to sleep tonight that is safe and habitable. And I just want to say that $500,000, if I get a vote on that, that $500,000 will be cut from the budget over my big, fat, dead, bloody body. And when Carl talks about political will and talks about being aggressive, it troubles me that not every seat in this room is filled, because that's what we need to start to have to happen. We need to Willowbrook this problem, for those of you who remember. We need to put a face on every one of those 3,800 kids. They're counting on you. They can count on me, they can count on Carl, they can count on Paul, they can count on some of my advocates here in the audience. They're counting on you. Cuts like this, even especially in a bad economic environment, especially require the political will of those of us who can to do. And so I'm going to leave here on those words. You need to speak up. You need to get to the people who should be in those seats. You need to be telling your elected officials. You need to be calling Mike Bloomberg and telling him that as bad as the economic situation in this country, in the state, and the city are, balancing the budget on kids who are sleeping in subway stations tonight is not appropriate, and it's immoral, and it's wrong. Thank you.